Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Peace, everybody. This is your brother, Mr. Holipsism, coming to you on a fine Sunday afternoon. And I have with me my co-hosts, Deontay Ford and Jabari.
Yeah, that's right. Deontay Ford and Jabari, the Liberia's shield, the troublesome
right.
twosome. They're the defense of the tether nation.
What's up, Jabari?
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're good. And we have a special guest, too, coming to join us. There he is. Trust Daily from the Liberia Leadership Academy. How are you doing, brother? Can you hear me? Hello?
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 Can you hear us, bro?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Now. Yeah.
Hear you now.
All right. Good.
All right. So the title of this live stream is Musk and Trump set to attack Black America via Liberia. Interesting.
Set to attack America.
Umoja wrote this description. He hasn't joined yet, but I'll read it for him. This is the conversation Black America and diaspora can't afford to miss. For far too long, the powerful connection between Liberia and Black America has been buried, ignored, or dismissed. Liberia is not just a place for freed Black Americans. It was a blueprint for self-governance, sovereignty, and true independence. So why have we turned our backs on this legacy? In this live stream, we're calling you to wake up. We're bringing Liberians and Black Americans to the table for a groundbreaking discussion on how this forgotten connection is key to our survival and empowerment. The question isn't if we can unite, but when. And the time is now. This is about more than history. It's about using the past to reclaim our power and secure a future where we rule ourselves. This is your call to action. Join us, share this, be a part of history in the making. All right. Now, where is our brother? He hasn't joined in yet, so I'm going to give him a chance. But Jabari, I want to ask you a question, if you can hear me.
No, I can.
How are Musk and Trump attacking Black America via Liberia?
Well, I mean, they're using South Africa first. We got to give people, just the background information.
Yes.
They're using South Africa as like the first go punching bag. And obviously, they're using South Africa as a punching bag. One, because of the fact that Elon Musk is quote unquote from South Africa. He's a white settler, white European settler who lived in South Africa. And he is very upset that apartheid ended in South Africa. And one of the major catalysts of ending apartheid in Africa, in South Africa, not saying it's a good organization, but in this particular instance, was USAID. So what he's now doing is he's gutting USAID, saying that, we should revalue the relationship with South Africa because of how they're treating white South Africans, basically saying, oh, white South Africans are being oppressed and they're facing racism and all of that stuff, right? So he's using that
Music to my ears. I hope to God they are.
And so now he's probably going to do that same thing about Liberia. Now, granted, we've seen some of the Trump trolls talking about, hey, the U.S. should annex Liberia because Liberia used to be was heavily influenced by America. Therefore, America should take Liberia. And so, if they're going to attack Liberia, they're probably going to attack Liberia through the Negro Clause that says, hey, this is racist. How come they have this in their constitution, but we can't have a whites only, clause in the U.S. Constitution? That's one thing that people are going to constantly keep emphasizing. What racist people emphasize is, hey, y'all have a black clause in Liberia. How come we can't have a white only clause? So that's where Trump and Musk are going to then attack Liberia on. Most likely is, hey, you guys have a black clause which excludes white people from owning land and voting, and that's racist. So that's looking to be the domain where they're going to attack Liberia.
Yeah, just to quickly come in, if you guys can still hear me. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, just making sure. Yeah, and it's kind of crazy how you mentioned that, because not too long, I think Mr. Holliver and myself, we had a discussion about this same Negro clause, and yes, you had now Lebanese people also saying the same thing, that our Negro clause is very racist, but deep down they know that it isn't racist, because if you look at Lebanon, they have a decree that states that your father must be a full-blooded Lebanese, regardless of the nationality of your mother, for you to become a Lebanese citizen. But none of them actually says anything about it. And God forbid, should a black person be in Lebanon being a nationalized citizen to own land and businesses, that would never ever happen. So for them to make that kind of hypocritical and evil statement, I think it's just fake, and there's a hidden agenda behind it, because they understand that Negro clause is a precautionary measure, and they want to find ways to break it by any means necessary.
And this is also what happens when you have ineffective leadership that don't know how to develop a nation. They don't know anything about economics. They don't need to know anything about building infrastructure. When you are constantly a beggar, you're putting yourself on the line for a lot more tyranny. And that's exactly what this is. Whites are attempting to do exactly what they're doing, and that's just acquire more land and resource for themselves. Them breaking the Negro clause is going to give them access to a lot of things, and including they're going to continue what they've been doing, which is trying to enslave Liberian people and continue to subjugate Black people. That's what this really is. And I just hope that there is some force in Liberia that can toe the line and say, we don't care about your damn aid. We're not going to surrender to you.
But see, in order for that to happen, and before that Halab or Brother Umoja come in, is you have to have a population that is educated and has some sort of ideological roots in Liberia's history or Black history or Pan-Africanism to resist that. Because when you have leadership that not only is incompetent, has no understanding of history whatsoever, has no ideological or background in this, it's easier for them to cave, because truth be told, there have been plenty of Liberians in the Senate and the House of Representatives that wanted to get rid of the Negro clause for a long time. And so Musk and Trump would just be the gateway for them to finally get rid of it. They've always wanted to get rid of it. They've said the exact same talking points that Musk and Trump have been saying. It's racist, white people should own land and stuff. White people should be able to do this and that. And they would just give them basically a free pass. Like, yeah, we can finally do what we wanted to do. So you really need that backing and that roots based in Liberian history and based on the Black tradition to even stop it. Otherwise, they're gonna fold. They're gonna fold like
Paper.
piece of paper.
Well, okay, so how many of these Liberian politicians actually support removing the Negro clause, and how many are against it? Do we have an accurate number, or is it just guesstimation at this point? I'm just curious.
We don't have like an accurate number per se, but I can give some examples
Sure.
of politicians in Liberia talking about we need to get rid of the Negro clause. One example, I mean, let's talk about, I mean, the previous administration, the Way administration wanted to get rid of it. They just didn't like have the simple like, you know, time or thing, but they wanted to get rid of it. Other members of the CDC wanted to get rid of it. So this is not just like saying like making up like, oh, like, you know, these are like few nobodies. No, there are some people who are high profile that want to get rid of it.
Can
They
I
want
ask
to
a
make
question?
Oh, go ahead.
What would be the repercussions if they could convince the current leadership of Liberia to get rid of it? What would be the repercussions of that?
Well, they're going to turn Liberia into South Africa. The smaller minority of white people that are going to go and inherit everything, and they're going to take up everything. The black people are going to be a permanent poor underclass. Liberia is going to be influenced heavily by Western society. Not that they already aren't, but it's going to get worse. You're going to see more and more Europeans flocking over there, more Asians flocking over there, more this and that. Liberia is not going to be Liberia anymore. It's going to be whatever they want it to
Well,
be, and these corrupt black politicians, the ones that are for it, are going to get everything they want. They're going to keep getting more money. They're going to keep doing whatever they're doing. That country is going to cease to exist, and they'll just be a footnote in
gentrification.
history. Yep, gentrification on an extreme level.
Yeah, I'm about to
That's
say
the
what's
only
most
thing.
likely going to happen is you have a situation where you have multinational corporations, because that's really who it is. It's multinational corporations. They're gonna come in and practically they're gonna run the show. They going in terms of economically wise, they're gonna run the show because now they would have access. I mean, we saw briefly with the UAE. The UAE wanted to buy up like 10% of Liberia's forest or a huge chunk of Liberian land for their carbon credits.
Have
But they couldn't go through with it because of the fact that, hey, you know, Liberia has this Negro clause, so you can't really do that because that'd be a violation. When that's gone, you can have not just the United States, you can have the UAE finally come in. You have people that can finally come in and finally do some things because now that barrier is gone. And now you're in a situation where all of the money's going to go to the politicians. They're going to be bought and paid for, and they're just going to do what's going to give them the most money.
right. These people are not real politicians. They're fucking criminals. They're like it's everything
Mhm.
that Sister Call says about them. They're criminals. They're delinquents. They're deviants. They're just people that really should not be around anything that looks like a government building. Anytime in the world where you could set fire to your own parliament building, no repercussions are handed out, you're showing you are too indebted in corruption. That you are showing that you are not a faithful servant of the people, but a servant of yourself in a foreign entity, and that's what these people are. I'm not. I know I've said some words so far, but I'm not fully even sure. I mean, I'm even allowed to say openly what I think should happen to these politicians, and I'm really shocked that the people of Liberia have not risen up against these people yet. They're drugging them out in the streets because this is basically them selling. You're basically selling you on the corner for $1.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
some
but
people out here, yeah. There's some people out here some black people out here that are so lost that they'll sell their own grandmother's butt crack for $1. And that's who's really running Liberia.
I
That's who these
mean, I
people are.
mean, but again, when you have no ideological framing, when you have no ideological backing, you're just in power. You're based on, you know, money and stuff like that. You don't have that foundation. Yeah, of course they're gonna sell out because to them, I'm getting money. Who cares?
You know,
Who like listen? One of the things that people have to understand, and this is something that I want to emphasize to you guys, that I was watching. I have great respect for one of these reporters. One of these reporters say that politicians, a lot of politicians play something called power politics. What power politics is these politicians don't care if their population suffers or the policies happen at the expense of their population, as long as it benefits them or it further entrenches their power. These Liberian politicians are not going to care if it is a detriment to the vast majority of the population, if it means that they get enriched. If they're getting 50 million, 100 million, if they're getting money in their pockets, they don't care if it's to the detriment of the population. The only way that they're going to care is if the population is educated and has that ideological backing and foundation to say, we are going to cause holy hell if you do this. But if you don't, if you have a population that has no historical understanding, doesn't have that backing as a lot of Liberians do, it's going to be easy to do it because you don't have that backing. It all goes back to they gotta have that education and that backing, that foundation to really kick it off.
I want to ask
Yeah.
Trust a question. Can you hear me, Trust?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, because you're boots on the ground there.
Hmm.
Give us your opinion of what the temperature is. Do people even know that they're under attack?
Actually, let me give a perfect way to answer it. So there's only small numbers of people that actually know that they're under attack and they're aware of the situation. But that don't mean that they actually know their true history, because you still have most of them to still be ignorant when it comes to their history, but they have the common sense to understand what is happening around them. They have that understanding to understand that they are indeed being attacked, but they make up only the minority. The majority, they have no idea that they are being attacked. They think that these people who are going to come in are their saviors. That's all they think. They don't know. So no, they don't have any idea, because like Jabari said, they have lost their identity. They need to be re-educated on their self-enlightenment. They have no sense of self-enlightenment. They are lost. So no, they don't have any idea.
And what about the small few that do know? Are they organizing or putting forth any effort to at least get the word out and let them know?
I don't I really don't think so, because if that was the case, you would hear, with the exception for those on YouTube, you have some of them, but they're not really too known. But in most cases, no, because in my own opinion, if that was the case, you would hear them talking about it or making it a major issue on the radio stations, because that's where Liberians mainly go to put out frustrations or put out negative things that they think that are harming the population and basically all Liberian citizens as a whole. So no.
What about Facebook?
Facebook, apart from us, in my opinion, no, I'm yet to see any group or organization in Liberia that's doing the same thing that Save the State and BAIO are currently doing right now.
Wow, that is scary because that would be like Bane breaking Batman's back
Yeah.
to
Batman still got
Liberia. If they allow foreigners to come in and start snatching up land and stuff and becoming citizens, it's a wrap.
Not
well.
What I
necessarily. We gonna
I,
have to do some we gonna have to do some dirty work. But even if they start with late, we can take it back. But it's gonna have to start with us organizing. We're gonna have. Oh,
there
I
is
was just clearing my
something
throat.
there.
Go ahead.
oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I thought you were saying it. Well,
No.
yeah. Even if that happens, we need to have a fallback plan because it's gonna have to start with us clearing out whatever the that parliament, either peacefully or non-peacefully. We need to make sure that there's a plan B in case that happens. We can't just the buck doesn't stop even there. This is a boxing match. We just got caught with a left hook. We hit the canvas. We're gonna stay down and take the 10 count or take the 8 count, catch our breath, get back up, and re-strategize for the next rounds. This is an early
Mhm.
fight. Worst case scenario is we're gonna have to organize around that and not and get the people we want in power to reinstate the Negro clause should it happen. Right now, I'm all about preventing it from
Thank you. That's what
preventing
I
that
was
from
going to
going
say.
away. Yeah, but right now we also need to have a plan in case a plan in place in case we fail at that option. So right now, organizing ourselves is the first priority. I'm all about prevention right now, but that doesn't mean we can't divert maybe say 20% of our energy to having a backup plan should that happen. Like maybe making the farmers or whoever's going to try to settle here uncomfortable, going after their crops, making their lives miserable, just making them uncomfortable, making them not want to be here. Then putting some politicians in place to force an agenda to where we reinstate the Negro clause should it be taken down. Like we can't like even if we hit the mat the first time, we got to get back up. All right, but right now
Mm.
I'm focused on preventing it. I think that's the easier part. It's going to start with us getting some educated people in the Congress and educating the masses. So that's got to be first. These people in Liberia have to be organized and have to be alert to what's going on. There are pages from other historical leaders we can take from, even some of the bad ones, about how they actually rallied to get people to their cause and how they managed to organize. As far as I'm concerned, they're lucky I'm not boots on the ground because I would have Liberia as a far right country as opposed to the centerism that they are in now. Because I would have us to be us, like black first. Like it would be to the right of human. Like this kind of stuff just wouldn't even happen. Wouldn't be me. But that's just me. As far as I'm concerned, we need to get the word out, talk to start organizing, talking to people online or offline, um, organizing the people that's actually there, trying to reach out as best we can because right now we're not boots on the ground, but some of us are, most of us aren't. The people who are going to have to do the fighting right now are the ones that are already there. I'm working on prevention, but if worst comes to worst, we need to have a plan B. That's me. Y'all go ahead.
Umoja?
Yeah,
Continue. Y'all continue. I'm still gathering my thoughts. I'm still gathering my thoughts on it.
Trust, you
I
were
got a
about
lot to
to say
say.
something?
Huh?
Trust was about to say something?
yeah. I wanted to say yes. I agree with brother Deontay. And then after that, the next phase is to establish more strong alliances with other African countries who are heavily Pan-African. Like for example, like the Sahel states,
I
because we
think
don't
that's
have
a
no
Yeah,
very
and
friends
that
out.
intelligent thing to say.
Yeah, yeah, because
yeah, and that's going
we
to
don't have yeah we don't have friends out there outside of Africa. We don't have no friends.
yeah. We have to clear out that just abhorrent leadership in Liberia. That what is it? The Parliament, the Congress, or the Senate, whatever they call it, they're gonna have to go. The ones that are uh, siding with the devil need to be expunged. We need to get a list of
Mm.
these leaders, their names, their parties, their affiliations. We're gonna have to take care of them one way or the other. If we can't get them out there peacefully, they gotta go non-peacefully.
It's like,
That's what needs to be done.
for me, I see so many problems, so many issues, and I know that all of these issues and problems are solvable. And the solution is typically not very hard. The hardest obstacle seems to be getting the people who are being harmed the most to believe in themselves and in the solution, because the solution is in the people themselves. The solution is 100% in the people themselves with their own bodies, even if it's with their own bodies going and standing wherever they're trying to get something and say, no, this is ours. But you have to have people who believe in themselves and their country enough to do that. When you have people who believe first, not black first, but when you have people who, if you just say this, insert random nationality of people coming to build a well, they're gonna come and build this base of electron, whatever it is, and they think, oh yeah, they're gonna come and it's gonna be better. That is the number one problem. The number one problem is that people in their mind believe in others outside of themselves, man. That's where we have to start. We have to start in self-belief. The belief that why are we looking at an Asian country? Why are we looking at America? Why are we even looking at another African country when we have men and women right here? What's the problem? We don't know how to do this. Well, teach us. Let's go hire somebody to teach us. Let's go hire a Russian, an American, a Chinese. We can hire anybody to teach us, but we're not going to go and get people to do this thing for us and then treat us like slaves. This is a mentality, people. This is a mentality. And if this is the mentality of most of the population, that is a problem that needs to be addressed first. Because I don't care how much history you know about your country. I don't care how much history you know about the world. If in your soul, you don't believe that you are the boss of yourself, you're going to lose. You're going to be a smart ass slave. You're going to be a very well knowledgeable slave. You're going to be a slave that know all your history. You're going to be a slave that know all the presidents, all of this stuff. And guess what? You still going to bend over and take it because you don't believe in yourself. Now, if this is if knowledge and learning history is inciting some sort of cultural pride, then let's do it. Umoja believed that it's not. Umoja believed that we've been doing this for decades and decades and decades and decades, and knowing about ourselves is not enough. We have to learn strength. We have to learn strategies. We have to learn that we are strong and that we're not taking no shit. We men first, black men first. You're gonna have to come through us first. We don't care who the president. We don't care who the military. We have feet and fists, man. That's what we need to be. We need men who think like that. Hard stop. All that other stuff sounds great. It's great to be political. It's great to be pro-social and talk nice and sweet. That don't get us anywhere, people. That's gonna get us, guess what? 50 years from now, our children will be on whatever YouTube is in 2100. They'll be on YouTube talking the same shit because we're not doing anything. We need men of honor who are gonna do shit. Do shit that's uncomfortable. Do shit that makes people look at us sideways. Do shit that doesn't make sense. But we need doers. Hard stop.
I don't want to stop you from cooking.
We just look, but the thing is, big bro, is that we look around. We know that if somebody slapped you in the face, you're going to get some act right. You're going to say, what is going on? Everybody is prepared for the revolutionary. America, China, Africa, they're prepared for the revolutionary to get up here talking about we will overcome black power, RBG, let's all come together, Pan-Africanism. They love that talk because they know that shit ain't going to lead us nowhere. We need to be a threat, y'all. We need for them to look at us and say, what are these niggas going to do? Not look at them. We're ready for this. All we got to do is, guess what? Give them a judge. Here you go. Guess what? Give them a president. Here you go. Guess what? Give them a CEO job. Here you go. And the majority of black people are gonna clap. Let somebody come and just insert a hospital. Here you go. Here's a hospital. Ooh, look, we're gonna be open. No, man. We need to be viciously doing for ourselves intentionally. I don't give a damn if we gotta start with a pen and a piece of paper with nothing. Let's fucking make metal out of it, man. Damn. It's gonna be hard. We're gonna die. Boo fucking who? We're doing that anyway. We're doing nothing. Wake up. We're being exterminated, man, and we're not doing anything about it. No one is being hurt. No one is being touched for touching us. No one. And that is a problem for me, man. Seriously, no one is threatened by us. We talk all this black power. Look at us. I'm not nah, bro. No one is scared of us. And that's a problem for me. Seriously, someone should fear us. Seriously, y'all, like, am I alone here? We should be feared as a people, not looked at as clowns, not looked at as, don't worry, all we got to do is put on a nice beat. They're going to start shaking their ass and forget that they're slaves, because that's what they do to us.
My response to that would be, in order to do that, you have to have the capabilities. And black folks have not shown that we have the capabilities. I mean, you can try to instill fear, but there's a difference of trying and can you. That's the thing. We gotta first build the capabilities. That's why nobody fears us, because we don't even have the capabilities yet. It's like we ain't even got a team yet.
Tell it, Barry. Tell it, Barry. For real, man. Tell it, Barry.
You gotta have a team first before we can do anything. If we want to win, we gotta build a team. We ain't got no team. We ain't got no capabilities. We ain't got nothing, and we expect to go out. That's why, for me, the first thing is, once we get the education, then you got to organize. Then you got to start building stuff so that we can get to that point where it's okay, these Negroes can fight. These Negroes can actually do something.
Right, right, right. And on that note, Bari, on that note, and then I'll let somebody else cook. I strongly believe that we can use the systems that we currently have. Let me explain. Let me explain two systems: the system of education and the system of entertainment. If we were smart and serious, Jabari, we could find that by going to the HBCUs and handpicking, forcing people say, no, if you come in here, you're going to be in the engineering program, you're going to be in this program, you're going to be in the IT program, and saying and then using those systems that's already in place. We already have these people going to HBCUs around Black people. Let's transform how the education is dispelled. Let's transform the classes you actually have to take in terms of Black history, Liberian history. Follow me? Let's actually instill this strength in them and say, no, you're going to build on this building. You, civil engineer, is going to build on this Black building. But we don't do that. We just be happy that we got people in college. Now, talk about the system of entertainment. Y'all, 1% of everybody, from Denzel Washington to LeBron James, 1% of everything you get is going to the Black pot. And guess what we're using that for? To build Black systems, to build Black infrastructure. This is something that can be done, but we need right leadership. We need right leadership that can go and put the foot on these dudes' head and say, look, y'all, this is good that y'all got all this stuff going on by yourself, but we need help in America. So you're going to contribute to it. We're not going to the government. We're going to do this ourselves. We can do that. We literally can do that. Why aren't we is the question. But those are the systems I'm talking about that we need to have. That can happen.
And that's what makes this all so super frustrating.
It's frustrating as shit.
Just to unpack what you said, I have people who know what we're doing. They know about the Liberia Leadership Academy. They know about the fact that we've graduated, these classes. And these same people I see on the timeline is so confused about what should we do. They just don't have a clue. What should we be doing? Isn't that crazy? Like they saying they are totally confused about what the next step that Black folks should be doing. Totally confused, even though the blueprint is right in front of them.
That's because these people are two things. A, they're unserious, and B, they're just looking at who they can lash themselves onto, bro. That's what this is. A lot of these people are grifters. That's what they are. They're looking to see who's trying to join. Yeah, they are just trying to be a part of what. Right now, they're scoping out to see who's going to be part of the winning team. That's what they're doing. And whenever one side look hot, they're going to jump onto that one. That's what they're doing.
Let me tell you the main issue is with them is they think that it's a quick fix. Like, what should we be doing? Like they're basically telling them what they should do. And granted, we can help lead and guide them, but the issue is they want a quick fix. They think this is a quick solution, and we say, listen, there's so many things to do. It's not a quick solution. It's just not.
I wish people could hear us, man. I wish people could hear us, because when I listened to it, I was thinking like, man, I appreciate Jabari so much. You have a talent, bro, to come in with your delivery and just bring in something and just be like, bro, that's seriously. And then you got myself that'll just fly off the handle. You got Deontay, he's more calm, right? And young. We got youth, and then we got Big Bro, who's the prophet, the Godfather. It's like a motley crew of Black thoughts. It's not just, oh man, it's a group of emojis. Oh man, this is a group of people who don't like women. Oh, this like, man, this is such a solid effing group. I don't understand what's wrong with you, with the people of America. Seriously though, like this group, I know I'm biased, but this group is fire. Straight the fuck up.
Let's not leave out trust.
No, you're not
man,
biased,
and I left out my man. I left out my little brother who's on the continent putting it down. Excuse me. Seriously though, look at this group. Man. Crazy.
Yeah, it's good. It goes back to And that's another thing our people on the ground they have forgotten. They look at diversity like right now, like we have a group of diverse people with a single goal, a single mission. Although yeah, we have different, we might have different methods. Ideology is the same, but it's beautiful because we can all learn different ideas and put them together. And that's another problem here, also in Liberia. Um, we see diversity to be a bad thing. We believe that we have to stick on only one method or one ideology, merely method of doing things, and it gets us nowhere. It gets us stuck. It's basically it's basically insanity. Doing the same thing, thinking that you'll get different results. They villainize diversity instead of actually embracing it. Because if you get if you embrace diversity, you can listen to different ideas, see which one sticks, and the one that doesn't stick, you put it aside. That's another problem.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. I think the biggest problem though is that we don't do nothing. like like I'm looking at like particularly I'm looking at Black America. What are you doing, Black America? Doing, not thinking about, not talking about, but actually doing, putting into effect. What? For the last few weeks, me and Yamoja have been pushing banking with your own black bank. Putting your black dollars in the black bank instead of putting it in the white bank. And we're not even do it right here, people. We're black nationalists. So why aren't the people who push we should be America has prime real estate. We should be doing it right here. Why aren't you doing anything? That's why when I hear people in America who are not nationalists complaining about Trump, my first thing that I say is, well, that's your
Yeah,
president. What are you against your president for?
right.
This is where you want to stay. This is the country that you want to claim as your home. Why are you at war with your own president? And what's the alternative to your own president? Let's talk about that.
They keep quiet. They won't say anything.
Is there anybody else that you have? Since Kamala ain't black enough, who have you groomed to be your president in the United States of America that's going to represent quote unquote black interests? Can you please tell me who they are? Because I don't see them. All I see is a bunch of complaining about the people that's in power, the people that are making power moves, the people that are actually doing something and changing policy in your country. But for some strange reason, you can't do that.
It's crazy.
I think that the
This is
people of
why.
Liberia
Mm,
trust need to
yeah.
understand, even if they don't know at this particular point, like what Yamo just said, we're in an emergency situation. These people need to understand the ramifications of what's going to happen if they fold. If their politicians fold, we thought it was hard before. Put that on steroids and growth hormones if this actually happens.
And
Yes,
they
I
and
agree.
and did they so they already sent a proposal to Liberia or threatened them over it already?
They're talking about it, and you know what that means.
Wait, the Liberian government is talking about it again.
No, no, no. Musk is talking about it. He's putting it
Musk
out there in the atmosphere.
that he's going to do something to Liberia or this because I thought he was his focus was on South Africa.
His focus is on his focus is all over the place. It ain't just South Africa. He's doing damage wherever he can.
And God forbid if he succeeds in South Africa, who knows what he's gonna touch next.
No, Julius, the people in South Africa are a little bit more educated than those in Liberia. They seem like they are actually resisting their powers to be are shockingly to my shock as much criticism as I've given South Africa over the years, based on what little I've seen, their politicians are actually giving up some resistance. They're actually not letting it happen.
Yeah, even if if the resistance is little, but it's still a resistance. It's still there.
Right. So I think they understand with the history of apartheid that they know that this guy cannot get his way. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. So I don't even think they're going to succeed in this crap. I'm just being real from my personal perspective. I don't know what y'all are thinking, but I don't think they're going to succeed.
We pray that they
Well,
don't.
from your mouth to the creator's ears, but the reality is, what is our defense? Our defense is looking like the New York Jets.
No, they had a good defense though. But yeah,
Well,
you're right. I think
our offense, the frustrating thing about it is our defense and offense is ourselves, but we ourselves don't want to connect. We don't want to be that we. Even the we, you'll have like the we, the we is obvious. The we should be gang members, obviously poor people, obviously the people who say that they RBG, obviously the people who say that they Pan African, obviously anybody who say that they fighting against the government, they fighting against white supremacy. All of those people should be the we. Hard stop. That should be the we. But the reason why that's not the we is because most of the men, we think that we have the answer. We must be the Messiah. I must lead my people. I must be the Prince of Pan-Africanism. I must do this. It must be my idea. That's a huge stumbling block for us. It's that, and then the ultimate, we're scared. Ultimately, it comes down to we being scared. I can't do that because I might get hurt. Meanwhile, you might get hurt anyway just by getting pulled over. And you know this, but instead of being intentional about our freedom, we'd rather just pussyfoot around it. Let's wait and see what the government do. That's the
Are you?
truth. We
Can I
are
ask you?
ourselves.
Can I ask you a question just for clarity? Are you talking about the masses of the people, or are you talking about the leadership?
I'm talking about leadership. I'm talking about leadership
Okay.
because the masses of the people, just like somebody has said earlier, like the average person, they just want to like figure out how they gonna work and die and try to have some happiness in between. But you got some of us who out here screaming from the rooftop, the people in there always talking about all the oppressive stuff, all this spooky dooky stuff, all online can break down all the history about being abused. We because when they break down that stuff about being abused, we can say, "Oh, we can't actually heal. There's actual solutions to heal, like some spiritual awakening." They're the problem because they teach our people about the oppression, but they never talk about the solution. That's a huge stumbling block. We just want to talk about the oppression like that's our norm, that's our reality.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Emoji, that you probably don't hear too often. You're actually being nice when you're talking. If you're talking about the leadership, you're painting it with a very kind brush. Let me give my take. The reason why they don't push solutions is because they don't give a crap about solutions. They are comfortable with the way things are, and they're making sure that it stays that way. It's intentional. It ain't an accident. The reason why we are in the position that we're in right now is not accidental. It's intentional. I'll use
Messed
the
up.
cultural conscious community, for lack of a better word. The people who got the knowledge and who know what time it is have carved up Black America into blocks where each person, each ideology sells weight on that block. And as long as you don't come on a block trying to sell weight, they good. They operate the same way the drug dealers do. And I can make this statement because in my naivete, and people have heard this story before. When me, my cousin, my nephew, Mac, rest in peace, my other friends, we got together and we said, in our naivete, man, it seems like all of these groups think that the white man is the devil in some way. That's the enemy. In all of their ideologies, that's who they've identified as the enemy. So we said, well, why don't we get these groups to work together? since they all have a common enemy. And then we discovered how foolish we were when, by thinking, the presupposition is that they thinking that these groups give a damn about black people. That was our tragic error. And nothing has changed. When you look at who's trying to make change, it's going to be a very few select people. And they're not going to get a huge amount of support. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
It's funny how the words may change, but the song remains the same. It's like nothing has changed since 30 years ago. They still haven't amassed a power base, even in America. But they can tell you about the problem. Oh, they are experts at breaking it down. They can break down the foot up our ass. They can do that. But anytime you start talking about solutions and action, you're going to get the biggest pushback you've ever gotten. Like Yamo just said, you would think that the people who are at the foot, under the foot of white supremacy in America, would be on our side. I made that mistake too. You know who has gotten where our message has gotten traction with the most? Working class people.
Yep.
That's where our message has gotten. The people who can live comfortably in America and not even think about this stuff are the people who the message has resonated with the most. Weird, huh? The poor folks are Team America. Why do you think ADOS and FBA is so popular? Because their all ideology is tied to the hip of America. They don't want nothing to do with Africa. They want to carve African people up even more than we're carved up. Now they done came up with some term called tether. So now the Caribbean is our enemy. The African immigrant is our enemy now.
No, what it is, big bro, is that the activists, we like to take the path of least resistance when it comes to actions. You know, hey, everybody go out and vote. And then the people that vote will legit get online and everything and try to shame everybody as if voting, when we know that voting, while yes, it matters, it is not the most effective way to change, right? And then when you say something like, y'all, let's support black businesses, let's open black bank accounts, something that we could actually look at and see and then start talking about. No one even wants to talk about it, y'all. Are y'all understanding that nobody even wants to talk about it?
On Black History Month.
Literally. How do you get over? Literally don't want to talk about it.
This is Black History Month. Let me remind y'all. Black History
But when we
Month.
talk about, but when somebody talk about, oh, Donald Trump is doing this, we go crazy. We'll get excited. Oh, look at what they're doing over here. Look at what the Republicans, look at what the we go crazy. But when you say black people, let's focus on us. Let's focus on us. It's hard for us. It's so hard for us. And I know that a lot of it comes out of fear because at the end of the day, in our prefrontal cortex, it goes, you're going to die. They will kill you. Seriously. I believe it's that serious psychologically for us. That it's an unconscious thought. It's an unconscious thought that immediately said they will kill you. They will kill us, which then obviously means, oh, I'll lose my job. I'll lose my lover. I'll lose my money. I'll lose this. I'll lose my status. I'll lose my superstar status. All of that is encapsulated with they will kill you. And that's what we really be dealing with.
Let's put the voting thing, because there's a lot of misinformation about this last election. Like, people want to make it seem as if black folks, just put Trump in office. Black folks, 80% of black men and women voted for Kamala Harris. Does anybody tell you that? 80%. the vast majority voted for Kamala.
Right.
We're not responsible for Trump being in office. You know who's responsible for Trump being in office?
White people and
White
Hispanics, because
people.
that's what, and Hispanics, because that's what
Yep.
put them in there.
White women, which is why I don't ever want to hear another woman talk to me about a female president in the United States ever again. That's dead. So even if we had voted, let's say, what would it take? 90% of us? You think it would have made a difference? He would have still got in.
Yeah, they gave Hillary Clinton 90% of their vote, or 89%. But
The
who's,
only
what's
slight
another percent?
increase that he got in terms of demographics was younger black men for some reason.
Not even that.
He got a slight increase in that. Slight. It's not enough to swing an election.
Yeah.
So this whole narrative of, black folks, our voting habits put Trump in office is just nonsense.
All I would say is that just shows that once again that that we overemphasize just how influential we are in America. I'm not saying we don't influence things culturally, but black folks really don't have a lot of sway as what we think we do. And it's a false sense of aggrandizement. It's kind of what a narcissist does. Like, that's the narcissistic trait, is this self-aggrandizement, this over-aggrandizement, this over-exaggeration of just how influential we are. When we're only 14% of the population.
We got Carla D that just joined. Can you hear us?
I can. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Oh, you can. Oh, okay. How do I mute? So, like, y'all don't hear me.
The little microphone. You typed the little microphone
on there.
Oh, I see it. Okay. Because I was about to hop in the shower and I didn't want to hear y'all doing my ethnic cleansing. But I want to say something quickly. First of all, I don't think. I want to ask you to give the folks who, I'm not FBA, by the way, and I don't follow the Tariq cult at all. I am, though, a legacy American who does wish to have a national identity like everybody else. Haitians, Liberians, Ghanaians. I don't want to be just some generic African. That's a landmass, right? And then when people ask me, I travel overseas. Oh, you're African. Oh, where from? What's your tribe? What's your language? I have no answers to these questions, obviously, and we all know the reasons. The people like MLK and Dizzy Gillespie and all of the people who made this country great did those things on this soil, and I don't want our children to forget that. I don't want our children to not know. The Nikki Giovanni's and every Malcolm X and all these people. I don't want us to like disappear into some genericness of just you're an African American. Like, okay, what is that? What about our culture? Because often a lot of these people who are from immigrant backgrounds or either immigrants themselves, they physically say you have no culture. You have no country, and dead ass will look at you and not understand how fucking insulting that is. Like, I'm just asking you to think about it from that point. From give the.
Can I ask you a question?
I'm just about to land. Give them a little bit of grace and think that maybe it's not everybody's coming from a point of hate. They just find that shit offensive. Fuck, like you get to be a Trinidadian. And I get to be nothing. Like what?
Yeah. So I'll let Hollow answer his question, and then
my question is: I guarantee you, and tell me if I'm wrong. The people who say that are probably people who have left their country and have come to America.
Yes, usually
Okay,
mostly.
because you're not going to hear many continental Africans saying that. That's not been my experience.
So I hear that might. I've never been, but I have hope. I have great hope that that's the case, because I do think it would be a shame that we could not. I think we could be the most.
I want to address that too. But I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
If Black Americans are so concerned about maintaining and preserving their culture, why don't they put their money? Why don't they put their money in a black bank right here in America?
Well, I do, and I have. So
no, I'm talking about the vast majority.
Oh, why? Well, because I don't think that necessarily putting your money in a, like. Do you know how many people got their money in a Chinese or Japanese, white folks got their money in a Chinese or Japanese owned bank? Like, that doesn't define your culture, putting money in the bank. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He's not saying about defining your culture. He's talking about basically being more independent. You're talking about
economic sovereignty, yeah.
Economic sovereignty. Yeah, but putting money in still running by the same banking system by the Fed is not.
No, I totally disagree. What bank do you have your money in right now?
They could shut it down now.
What money? Where's your money right now? Is it in a black bank or a white bank?
I have more than one account, but you don't want. I don't have to be specific about the name.
No, I don't need to know the name. But what I'm saying is, this concept of they could shut the banking system down is null and void to me, because your money's somewhere. Right now, it's somewhere.
It's working somewhere. Yeah, right.
Why is it that we always hear about they can shut the banking system down when it comes to putting money in a black bank, but nobody says the same thing when we have our money in the white bank?
No, they do. He brought up sovereignty. That's what I'm saying, and I'm saying that is no answer to sovereignty. That's what he brought it up.
Baby steps. If you can't put your money and consolidate your resources, then I don't know how you're going to make any type of moves. People.
Consolidate your resources, correct? Yes, I know. But with our current changing in fintech, the banking system and reliance on that necessarily is not what it was 30 years ago. So I wouldn't put too much stress on that. But I do agree with the part about consolidating resources. But there's more than one way to skin a cat, is what I'm saying. So that's why I'm just not that hung up on a bank, especially in our changing fintech economy.
I've heard this before.
And options and other alternatives.
There's actually somebody in the chat room who's saying the same thing. A bank is inappropriate. But the Latinos have a bank, and they total assets is about $50 billion. The Chinese have a bank. The Asians have a bank, I should say, and their assets is about $60 billion. $90
billion to be precise.
If you were to combine all 22 of the black banks that's in America, it comes out to about $6 billion.
Okay. Well, what does it matter if you're not doing the right thing with the money, if you're not building with the money?
That's like arguing, but that's like saying, or having an argument about the color of your Rolls Royce.
No.
Or telling me, or saying, oh, when I get the lottery, I'm going to spend it on this. No, we're going to have an argument about that. The thing is, we have to do something.
Of course.
Opening up a bank account is the most simplest thing that you can do. It doesn't require blood and urine samples.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do we need to stop the conversation just because you can't make that particular aspect of our economic empowerment project work?
So like, what would work? If opening up a bank account, which is the easiest thing to do, what would be an alternative to that?
There's this, I don't know, have you ever heard of the Black Project 2025? Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Vaguely.
Oh, okay. So there is it is a way to the platform that has been created by this I forget what she does for the. She's some kind of a marketer or something. Brilliant girl, black girl, young 20 something. And she basically in over a week after the election raised so much money online from folks who were like, let's form like a collective online co-op, right? That is one way, and that doesn't involve like credit unions are kind of an economic co-op, but it's not a bank. Somebody's interrupting me, and I can't even understand what it's. Yeah. So like if credit union, for example, is like a co-op, but it's not a bank, Hollow. I just don't want you to get hung up on one thing to stop the whole conversation. There's other things that we can do to put a collectivity, you know what I'm saying, to make a collective and to make moves.
So do you think the reason why there's no one's putting money, the vast majority of black people in America are not putting their money in a black bank is because they would prefer to put it in a credit union?
Some of them are.
Is that the reason?
There are black owned credit unions. Some of them are, yeah.
That's what you think.
Some people don't trust banks. Some people don't like them.
So that's the reason.
I haven't surveyed 40 million black people, Holla.
No, I'm just asking. What do you think it's a major drawback?
That's what I think. I just think there's choices. There's just lots of different choices out there, and people are making the best ones for their personal economic situation. That's all.
Okay.
But thanks for them. This is a great show, great topic.
No problem. You say you're taking a shower?
Holla, please.
No, because I'm gonna
you're gonna be inappropriate.
Take you out of the queue because we're gonna get some other people in if you're doing that.
I was just gonna mute myself, but yeah, go ahead. But I wanted to come back. I'm not that.
Okay, you can come back.
I'm quick with it. I'll be clean and quick. All right.
I'll let you exit, and then you can come back when you're ready.
Okay. I don't. You know what? Oh, so you hit leave studio, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Larry's Anything Goes LLC says all it really takes is placing a deposit once a month into a black bank account and purchasing products from black businesses once a month. It's that simple. That's what I'm saying. That's like, first of all, I don't agree that the problem is it's a bank, because people got their money in a bank right now. It just ain't a black bank. So it's like, I'm tired of that argument. That argument makes no sense to me. Because that's what I ask. Anytime I hear somebody say, well, they can control the banking system. All right, so then where's your money right now? Where is it? And 90% of it or more is in a white bank. So that kills that argument. So it's safe in the white bank, but it's unsafe in the black one? Tell me how that makes sense.
Here's my question before we start to wrap it up. What program? Because when I hear somebody say, hey, if we get like just a few thousand more people to like open up black bank accounts, y'all. I said a few thousand, there's millions of us. Just a few thousand of us open up more black bank accounts, and then we start like organizing around it and making it a thing and making it popular, making it viral. That's a good idea. I think that, hey, maybe if some of our stay-at-home moms, some of our retired educators and all that stuff, maybe we start doing homeschool community-based educating, where we're educating our own children, just like you could homeschool your kids anyway, but we're doing it in a black way so that our kids are growing up thinking differently and not just being. I think that's a good idea and that can be implemented. But it's like people don't seem excited or interested in doing that. I think that us saying, hey, let's do our own thing politically, I think all of these things are good ideas. Making our HBCUs more actually black focused and black future looking, and not just, hey, how many black people can we get with MBAs? How many black psychologists can we have? And not thinking how many black institutions can they be building? You understand? I think these are very good ideas that we actually can do, y'all. This isn't some pie in the sky stuff. This is stuff that we can actually do and actually gain empirical evidence from doing and research it and everything else. We could do these things. I think it's good ideas. So my question is, what fucking system, what thing can we do that get people to believe in and say, you know what, that's safe? What idea is safe enough for people to say, I can support that? And it's black.
Let me know.
That's my question.
You find out.
Seriously, that's my question to everybody. What fucking thing is safe enough for these people, man? Seriously.
The only thing is to convince them on Liberia. That's what it is. That I'm on Kwame's thing. Talk more about the Liberia situation. That's the only thing that I see that could actually make people get some hope. Because everything that she said can be answered with Liberia. That's everything. Everything can be answered with Liberia. That's just a simple thing.
Yeah, can I come in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so there's a person here asking this question: how does giving money to a black bank or business help us? I see it nails black elites who are against us. Anyways, I want to simply say, you can go and ask the Asian banks, you can go and ask the same white banks, and then they will tell you why white or Asian people are deciding to put money in their banks. Then probably you'll get to understand why they do it.
Yeah,
that's what I just wanted to say.
Yeah, you're right. It's like what I don't get.
That's not the question we should even be asking, honestly. Not to be disrespectful.
Yeah, what I don't get is why is it that the most simplest things we can't put into effect? I don't know anything more simple. You can right now open up an account with One United Bank online. And as far as how they help us, let's say hypothetically that we open up enough accounts so that our black bank was comparable to the Asian and the Latino banks. That wouldn't help us. Having a pool of about 50, 60 billion dollars wouldn't help us. And it's not just from opening up accounts. That comes from just investing in all types of different streams of revenue. That wouldn't help us as a people. That wouldn't help our entrepreneurs.
Most especially entrepreneurs, because I think, remember, we talked about, for example, if let's say all these black banks in America, they managed to accumulate close to what Asian banks have, and these entrepreneurs wanted to carry out, let's say, projects easily in, let's say, West Africa, it can make it easy because let's say they amass all these funds. They can easily open up branches in West Africa and move these funds like up, like back and forth. Because look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong has the East Bank of Asia right in the USA. So definitely, if you have a businessman from Hong Kong that wanted to invest in a project, they could easily move the money like between the US straight up to Hong Kong because they have a bank that they trust in. Very simple, very easy. They can get their projects going.
Do you think that you would be able to give out loans more to your people if your total assets is about 50, 60 billion than, let's say, 600 million? Remember, I said if you take the 22 banks and you put them together, it's $6-something billion.
Mm-hmm.
But most of those banks don't even have $1 billion worth of total assets. I see absolutely no reason why black folks should not have their money in their own bank and consolidate their finances and their resources so they can have a bigger pool to pull from. So you wouldn't have to worry about, oh, well, I didn't get this loan. Because when you have under $1 billion or 600 million, not everybody's going to get approved for a loan. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. It's simple economics. I think it's just shooting ourselves in the foot. And I really don't understand the people who are really that amped up about America. are amped up about doing it right here have yet to give any simple solution, something that's doable that you can hang your hat on right here. Me and Yamoja have been talking about it, and we're not even doing it right here, people. Why not take over the Green Party? They talk about start your own black political, but why do what Trump did? Trump just bogarted the Republican Party.
Different situation. But I just want to address this point. She said, I just want to address Carla D point and to piggyback. So I could go to Kwame's point. So she says, well, then what can you address the national identity point? And my point is that with that briefly, not to get into this long, monologue, is that Liberia is the only solution that addresses that. You say we need a national identity. We're an ethnic group, and ethnic groups don't have national identities. Okay, right. Ethnic groups take the national identities that they reside in. We can use this in the Liberian context. Yes, you have Pele people that are their own distinct group, but Pele people aren't just Liberians. They're also Guineans. You have some that live in Sierra Leone, but although most of them live in Liberia and then Guinea. Same thing with Grebo people. Grebo people is an ethnic group. They're their own distinct ethnic group, but they don't have a national identity that is just unique to only one place. You have Grebos in Liberia. You got Grebos in Ivory Coast, so they take the national identity of the country that they reside in. Black Americans are an ethnic group. Okay, therefore, the quote-unquote national identity that we have, it just resides in America. So we just take an American, but it's not a unique identifier because, again, Black Americans in the Dominican Republic, Samana Americans take the national identity of the Dominican Republic, even though their culture is Black American. So we got to stop with this using nationality or national borders as being the defining of our ethnic group and culture. No, ethnicity is very fluid and it's very expansive and it's not just this one thing. But to get back to talking about in reference to Liberia is the only place that has that mixture of African American culture that's significant and plays a driving force. And something that's not in America. I'm not saying we don't influence culture in America, we have. But Liberia has that unique distinction of having that African American, that indigenous African, that Afro-Caribbean, to whereas if you are Black American, you would notice that Liberian identity is very similar or has a lot in common with our ethnic group. So that's why I say it goes back to Liberia. So to keep things short, that's why. The national identity is not, ethnicity is not a national identity.
Jabari.
Yes.
Would this be a false statement? If we were to go to Liberia, it wouldn't matter. Like we wouldn't have this whole black bank discussion wouldn't even be happening.
No, it wouldn't.
So that's the simplest way. I think people are misunderstanding me when I talk about the black bank. Keep in mind, I'm a nationalist. I don't really care about America. I'm not trying to worry about my future here in America. The reason why I bring up the black bank is to show you how even the people who want to be in America aren't doing anything. And that's the simplest thing that you can do. And they're not doing that. That's my point. But if we were in Liberia, we wouldn't even be talking about this. It's like when I went to Rwanda, one of the guys who was with us on the trip said, man, I can't wait to get there so I can spend money in a black business. And I had to tell him, yo, son, it's all black business. Whatever store you go to, you're going to be supporting the country. And he was like, oh, because he was thinking like within an American context. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not confused. I know that's the only reason why I'm bringing up the black bank is because that's for the people who want to stay here and do it right here. Larry's anything. Can you hear us?
Oh, yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing, bro?
Pretty good, bro, man. Appreciate the channel. Thanks for having me on. I just want to keep it simple and to the point. It doesn't take that much You know, whether you're here, another country, FBA, black immigrant, whatever the case may be. People keep forgetting that the purpose of capitalism is getting access to capital. Well, how do you do that? Make sure you get your credit is right. If you own a business, make sure your business is growing. Make sure you're connected with other people that have the same mindset. People know more about what's happening with the Super Bowl than they do in order how to get a freaking American Express credit card or open up a black bank account or spend money with a black business. You know, having access to the right people, access to the right money, access to the right information. These are simple things. Spending your money. I just purchased something off of We Buy Black, which is the black version of Amazon based out of Atlanta, Georgia. It's simple things. I place money, a portion amount of money that come out of my job's check and my business. I put it into my other bank account. I put it into my One United Black bank account. These are simple things that people can do on a regular basis. It's not rocket science. It doesn't require a debate. It's just because I always say this. I'll end it off with this: who you spend your money with and who you bank with holds way more power than who you vote for. And I'll leave it at that.
Amen.
Yeah, for the do it right, folks. Yep, for the do it right here, folks.
And if you're trying to go overseas, it's like, why not do both? Because every other culture does both. Somebody from Nigeria, somebody from Mexico or El Salvador, they do things here and they do things back in their own country. I've worked with people who's retired early and went back to their home country because they made a lot of money here, and then they went back to Mexico. They went back to Ghana. My neighbor's from Ghana. He's built a business here, and he's building a business back in his home country in Ghana. These are simple things. It doesn't require a debate. If you're going to do it here, great. If you're going to do it overseas, great. We can still connect and we can exchange ideas and go from there. The only thing we need to debate is how much money we can get and how much money we can access to capital we can get. That's the only debate I want to have with anybody else. As far as anything else, it's just a waste of time at this point.
I'd say, Larry, that there shouldn't be a debate about anything. What is the common denominator that we can all agree on that can we put into an action plan? Me and Yamoja suggested just opening up an account in a black bank. Simple.
Exactly.
Simple.
Exactly.
Why are we getting pushback on that? So if that's not the common denominator, what is the common denominator that we can all agree on?
For most people, unfortunately, the most common denominator just want to argue for the sake of arguing because they, like the lady earlier said, she doesn't have trust in black banks because they could get shut down. Well, like you said earlier, any bank could get shut down at any time. So what are we really talking about here? Your money has to be placed somewhere. We live in a digital age. Unless you're going back to the old school days of stuffing money under your bedroom mattress, your money's being held somewhere, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's with a bank, whether it's with bonds, whatever the case may be, it's being held somewhere, and they could get hacked or taken away from at any point at any time. So, like you said, what is the point of arguing over this? It's very simple. So I'll leave it on that note. Thanks for the content, brother. Y'all have a great day.
You too, brother.
You too, man. Speaking of which, we are way over time.
Yeah.
There's an important question someone just asked here before we could go. Marcy Maney's asked, he says, are there any projects spearheaded by Black Americans in Liberia at the moment? If not, why? I ask because I can point to many other countries like Ghana, Tanzania, Rwanda, South Africa, etc.
Yeah, the reason why, there are some, but it's not to the scale as it is in those in other countries, because the reality of it is Liberia has not marketed itself, or Liberia has not reclaimed that place of being the Black diaspora, and that's what we're trying to do. That's what we have to build, because Liberia has not projected itself that way, so a lot of Black Americans gloss over it. So therefore, you don't see a lot of these mega Black American projects in Liberia the way that you would see in Ghana or Tanzania or Kenya or South Africa, because it's not being projected or marketed. That's really what it is. You got a few here and there, but if you trying to know, because Liberia just has not marketed itself. And we're trying to get that point to where Black Americans realize this is the place to go. That people realize that Liberia was that place. We're finishing the legacy that our ancestors started. But once again, if you're uneducated and the average person doesn't know about this, there's not really, what are they supposed to do? How do they know that, hey, Liberia was supposed to be where we're supposed to go? They don't know that. So that's really the real reason why I'm mostly, I would like to see more projects, but we got to get them there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I got just I don't know what happened, but I went completely dead. I didn't hear anything, so I had to go out and come back in.
But yeah, that's
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yeah,
now.
we can
Okay,
hear you.
okay.
yeah, we are way over time. Let's go ahead and get y'all a chance to recharge.
Yeah, yeah, we did. We went over our hour, so we're pretty good here. I wanted Car to come in, but I guess she was busy.
Yeah, I sent her the link.
Yeah, but I
But
think
yeah, that's
this
it.
was a good show. I think that we need. I'm going to do my best to sound the alarm so that people know that the Negro clause is under attack.
Yeah, I'll help. I ain't doing nothing
Mhm.
this week.
Yeah, I'm about to
Well,
send
I got
you. Yeah.
Monday something to do.
And trust, just do the same.
Yeah,
On your end, just let people know what time it is.
of course, of course. We might even probably do an episode that will focus deeply on the Negro clause, just to spread awareness to Liberians so they can know that it's a very important precautionary measure. It's a
Yeah,
protective
definitely.
barrier for Black people in Liberia. They let that down and we're finished.
Yes, definitely.
But I'm getting ready for the Monrovia Festival. It's gonna be a historical moment for Liberians during that day, starting with Providence Island.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure as always.
All right. Thank you for
Enjoy the
having
rest of your
me.
day. Thanks for coming, Jabari.
No
All
problem.
right,
Everybody have a
guys.
good
All
afternoon.
right.
I will see
Two
y'all
trust.
next weekend because I will not be able to make the Discord. Unless we go in there
Gotcha.
extra early, I won't be there.
Gotcha.
All right.
No,
Take
Peace.
care.
peace out.